All right, we are live. Live. Whoa, okay. Let's see. A little bit of this action here. All right, let's see. Maybe this is how we want to do it. How are we doing? All right. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Looks like we've got one person in here. What up? Oh, it's the bro. Okay, welcome to the live stream, all of you. I hope that my this time together can be fruitful. I don't know if I'm going to stick around that long. So for those of you who do show up, let's get a conversation going and see how things kind of pan out. What's up, you guys? Please comment in the in the chat box. Let me know what you're doing, what you're up to. Let's have a conversation. Hello there, Liv Rose X. Wave back. Please tell me how you are. Nothing to really talk about here. I wanted to kind of do a reflection video. It's interesting how patterns repeat, in our lives. The things we find meaningful, they stick to us in a way. I think in some sense that's evidence for the soul. But for me, I have been thinking a lot about this notion of creating the right kind of context for healing. Uh, we have a kind of industry in medicine now where we're thinking a lot about, kind of locating, you could say, the gene, right? We've got a gene for this disorder, or locating the right chemical, right? The right kind of hormone, trying to understand the causal mechanisms in this chain that creates this pathophysiology in the body. But I have always been very interested in the context by which disease emerges, the context by which, in particular, meaning emerges for people in their lives. Because I think if we want to go into mental health care in any real sense, we have to think a lot about how people really live. You know what I mean? Understand if it's health or not. How we make sense of what is health is a very interesting idea, I think. I've returned to from time and time again, this notion of health. So yeah, let me put it forth to you guys in the comments in the chat box. What are the right conditions for healing psychologically and physically? How do we make sense of providing a healing context? What do you guys think? Or perhaps, you could be a bit of a devil's advocate. What are there periods where we are, we're too focused on the context, maybe at the expense of the individual? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We've got 5 in the room. Things are getting kind of toasty. That's a lot. That's a lot of people in the room. It's heating up in here. Please make yourself known. Say something. I want to have a conversation with you guys. Belgium. Hey, Natalia, my brother and I have been enjoying Belgian beers quite a bit. Is this a thing, this Belgian style beer, or is that just kind of unique to a certain product, or is Belgian style beer something you enjoy? I'd love to know what you think. I love the name Natalie. I think that's a great name. So, but yeah, we don't have to talk about, what I propose. We can talk about anything. I'm very, I'm a perceiver on the Myers-Briggs. My trait conscientiousness is moderate to low. Unfortunately, I have to deal with that demon. But, we go with the flow around here. We try to keep things kind of unprofessional. We want to have fun. We want to explore. We want to see what comes to mind. We don't want to have too much of a set kind of frame for how we should or should not be doing things around here. So, yeah, if you have any questions or ideas you want to hear me kind of banter on about or explore, you can share those in the chat box. All right. Well, it's been quite cold lately. Yes, yes, it is subjective, isn't it? Subjective to different people. But is it necessarily entirely subjective? Are there not conditions that can be created based off of the individual, but maybe even the collective? We can imagine a kind of shared sense of identity, maybe, and creating the right kind of context for that identity. Tell me about that. What do you mean universal? That's a fascinating idea, isn't it? It would seem to me that there's a kind of interplay between the individual psychology and the group psychology and culture creation. Uh, and it's this participation in culture that seems to really heal and sustain people. But can we make the claim that certain cultures are healthier than others? That certain norms are healthier than others? Uh, Based off of values that have been passed on. Yes, yes, community. Yes, indeed. Meaningful work. Okay. Hmm, very intriguing. What has produced uh, a sense of health in your life, and what has produced a sense of unhealth in your life? How have you been able to discern this? Uh, I think this is the conversation I'm interested in having with people, because in that sense, I can kind of uh, merge into their experience of that. I find that that's my style. If any of you are familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 9, so that's what I do. I just kind of adapt, and it's a good time. It's a good time. It's just what I do. It's great. It is who I am. It is fun. It is enjoyable. So we've got someone from Belgium. Is it Liv Rose? Where are you from? Are you from the United States? Are you from somewhere in Europe? What always happens, by the way, is the longer I stay on, the more people kind of come in, right? So probably as we get, 30, 40, 50 minutes, we'll get more and more people. And it's like, I don't know if I really want to stay on the internet for an hour right now, but you guys are the lucky crew that got to hang. I also think that every time I live stream, I'm thinking about the amount of people in the live stream and I'm imagining you guys in the room, right? And I think that's kind of a fun mentalization exercise for me. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, whoever you are. Take a seat or stand, whatever you want to do. Welcome to the party. That is my live stream. Welcome. Make yourself known in the chat box and let us know what's up in your life. Yeah, it is interesting because it's like I am talking to myself, but I'm not talking to myself. Hmm. It's an odd thing. What could we talk about? What would you guys like to explore? I don't know if any of you guys can tell, but I'm actually quite tired, um, and it's gonna be great to sleep tonight. You know what I mean? You ever consider just how wonderful it is that we have this capacity to regulate our emotions, and that nature has a say in this? It fascinates me that I have to sleep. And it's not that I have to negotiate with that. I have to befriend it in a way. I have to eat. I have to befriend my desires, you could say. And I think for the nine, this is a very therapeutic thing because we kind of disassociate from affect. We're very good at that. Admittedly, I'd be the first one to say that that's something I tend to do. But I also am very sensitive to other people, so I guess there's a gift in that. The Rose says, well, over the past couple of years, I've done a lot of mental and internal work. Oh, wow, that's great. But it's led to a lot of disconnection with my actual body. I think I built a strong mind, but productivity is the struggle. Yes, productivity. Yes, that value. Yes, I imagine you are an INFP as well. Are you an Enneagram 4? Yes, the body, the body, the body. The body is interesting to us withdrawn styles because there's a cerebral sense, there's a cerebral kind of defense. Um, it's interesting that you say mental and internal work has led to more disconnection. I don't see two, two and five. Um, those are very different. Uh, very different. So the primary defenses are very different. Um, but the body's important, and I think that your insight into that is so important. And I hope that you can get closer to your desire and your body, and to uh, find relationships. That's always my approach to these things. We can focus on ourselves, but we don't really see ourselves. We don't really know ourselves clearly unless we get the right kind of support typically. And it just depends on the individual, right? There's a lot of differences here. But I think for individuals who are INFPs on average, there is a need for others. The trait agreeableness is very, very high. It's very hard to kind of feel worthy, right? Without other people. And I'll admit that. But the first one to say that, that's something I struggle with if I'm getting too isolated. I just need some people to love, and I think that helps me feel loved. So, how's that for some perspective on the body? I find that the body speaks. It speaks a kind of language, and we have to practice listening to the body. But it's tough to do that without people, right? It's like the whole body serves the social function because we have huge brains. So, what is desire but meant to be shared and communed and expressed and create creativity, really, right? The creative sort of impulse is, well, I don't think it's a selfish impulse. I think it's a creative and social impulse, and it heals. It does. Well, I appreciate those of you for commenting and sharing your thoughts. It's been nice. Maybe I'll stick around for 30 minutes. Maybe that'll be our cutoff. But yeah, anything you all want to talk about? I can always banter on about personality. That seems to be my area of interest. But I am getting trained in psychoanalytic theory right now, and that's been really interesting and fun to reflect on. We are going to be covering the work of Melanie Klein, who was an English psychoanalyst who really was the first psychoanalyst to really take very seriously attachment without calling it attachment, which gets me so excited because goodness gracious, that's just how we help people. We work on those patterns of relating. I think that's the heart of it. It's interesting that you say 2 and 5. Yeah, I wonder. You're probably maybe you're a 2. That might be the most likely Enneagram type for you. Well, one thing's for sure, it's a new year. Does that mean anything to you guys? We got a new year. How does it feel? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Whoever you are, let us know how you're doing with a comment in the chat box. Steps. Definitely agree. Been isolated for a while now. And as a community is so damn important. It is. The impact has definitely been felt. Yet I love people and I find so much intrigue in different types of people. Well, you're not alone and you're in the right place. I am very similar to you, and I'm sure many individuals who have clicked onto this channel are similar in this way. Um, the body, I think the body, it doesn't tell us what we need to do, but it kind of orients us in a way. If we haven't had severe trauma, granted, we have to keep in mind with severe trauma, the body gets very confusing, mostly too. Yeah. Well, I have a lot of respect for twos. Twos. Well, I feel like every woman in my family systems have been twos. Mother's a two, aunts are twos. Just all the men in my family have selected twos for wives, which I think is just kind of funny because it's like the prototype feminine temperament. Um, yeah, two dynamics are really interesting, very interesting. Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for letting people know. Yeah, it's a safe place here. We're the secret is, for INFPs in general, we do judge, but we keep it to ourselves. We judge ourselves, right? We're very open to everyone else. Um, but yeah, it's safe to share your thoughts and ideas. And hey, if you want to roast me, that's fine too. You can make fun of me. That could be fun. So I'll be the group scapegoat. Just being silly. Um, I guess we can reflect on the Enneagram too. I've been reflecting on those themes a lot recently. The two will move towards other people as a strategy to regulate their emotions. Um, uh, there is a need for closeness. Um, there's a need to feel like others are responding to their their moves for closeness. In psychoanalytic theory, we talk about the oral fixation or oral supplies, and um, twos are really the lover, I would say, the mother, the helper, um, and they are very interested in warmth. Yeah, warmth. I think we talk about like interpersonal warmth. Who is and who is not close to other people, things like that. It's very interesting dynamics. You know, what have I been working on? Eh, What have I been working on? I mean, to be honest with you, I've been revisiting a lot of the attachment theory stuff and like reworking my treatment philosophy because I have this desire to go into private practice or at the very least to work with individuals who are doing psychotherapy or are uh, giving their patients time and really kind of reflecting specifically on secure attachment and what it looks like and really what it feels like. To me, um, there are opportunities for people who experience security in their lives, particularly love in their lives, to delight in life, to delight in other people in particular. Um, so I'm thinking a lot about that, the nature of secure attachment, and understanding that a little bit better. I've been thinking a lot about personality disorders. Very, very interested in personality disorders, psychotic disorders. I've been thinking a lot about psychotherapy for psychosis and psychotherapy for borderline conditions. And just asking myself the serious question, which is this something I want to look at and do more of? Um, because man, is there a need for that? You know, there's a need for that kind of work, and it seems really difficult to do, but it seems like a challenge I'd be willing to kind of to take on and to experiment with. Yeah. Um, this notion of providing uh, interpretive, like providing more. What's the word? Um, kind of blanking here. When you're in doing psychotherapy, you can be more supportive. That's right. Yes, you can be more supportive, or you can be more expressive. Meaning, I can be more passive as a therapist or more active, right? Giving interpretations, maybe even giving advice. I give you life advice. For psychosis and for borderline, like pathology, the capacity to self-reflect, the capacity to have a coherent sense of self is so challenged that you really have to be providing supportive interventions. You need to kind of just be holding and containing affect, mirroring affect. Um, you can you can be very self-disclosing to people who are psychotic, in a way you can't be with people who are more neurotic. Um, the boundaries just don't exist for psychosis, and as such, you kind of have to like kind of adapt your approach in a major way, and I find that very intriguing. So that's an area of interest for me right now. Doing therapy with individuals who have schizophrenia, for instance, would be very fascinating. Any other comments or questions? I have to be a man of my word here and say I think I'll probably let you guys go around 30 minutes. All right, 30 minutes. Looks like they're about to play an ad on you guys. Hmm. Yeah. Is anyone familiar with Kurt Vile? I know you guys. I'm sure among the artsy crew of the internet, there are individuals who've heard of Kurt Vile. So my brother bought me a Kurt Vile hoodie for Christmas, which is pretty cool. I've been enjoying that quite a bit. Hmm. Yep, yep. Live Rose X. That is very interesting. The mind is a really wonderful place, isn't it? Finding balance between expressiveness when needed and dedicated listening is quite a feat. Uh, it is, and it challenges our rational sort of faculty. As human beings, we can use language and things and talk about ideas and tell the truth, even if you want to say there's truth and you can tell the truth. Well, with schizophrenia, it doesn't work that way. But I wouldn't say the capacity for the reality is speaking in a different way is what it is, right? Reality's become so unbearable. The self has become so disorganized, but the self is kind of hidden, and of course, reality is still reality, and it's fascinating to explore how people avoid reality in that way. The mind can and should be a wonderful place, but I don't think it is for a lot of people who suffer in that way. I think it's pretty scary. Are you from the United States? I think you might have said that. Yeah, I'm in the US. Yeah, it's gotten pretty cold. Are you somewhere freezing? Because it's gotten pretty cold these days. So we can all get excited about what? Putting on hoodies. That's right. Putting on hoodies, putting on jackets. You might actually whip out the turtleneck if you're feeling very, you know, very risky. I think there's risk associated with the turtleneck game. Yeah, turtleneck's like up here. I got the hood on now. Feels pretty good in the hood. Whoa, that rhymed. Feels pretty good in the hood. Um, yeah, just a few more minutes, but yeah. Thank you, Liv, Rose, for talking, and Natalie for saying hello, and of course, for John saying what's up. Um, whoa, what just happened? That was weird. I think I lost my. I think I'm still live streaming, right? Yeah, I am. There's a chat box. At least I thought there was a chat box. Did it go away? I don't even know. Weird. Very weird. Let's see if I click out and click back in. Will that? That is an ad. Okay. Weird. I like changed the way that the live stream looks, so I can't actually see the chat box, but I clicked into the actual link. Um, Finding a way to cope with the inevitable stressors of life, yet continue the day today is the basis for most. I mean, wonderful in its complexities, both good and bad. Yes, yes. There's so much potential, isn't there, for people to really enjoy life, even when it's overwhelming. To have a very to have a life that they're engaged in and managing in a way that is meaningful. Um, what is your favorite color? Always been drawn to like blues and greens. That's always been more of my style. Snow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, snow is intense. Yeah, I'm grateful we don't have snow, but at the same time, it'd be kind of cool to be able to see snow. You must be in the Northeast. I think there's snow in the Northeast now. Well, I think my stream is really struggling. So I think we are probably coming to the end here. Um, but I'm really glad that you've transitioned to red. So that's kind of exciting. Um, what kind of art are you doing? You just said as an artist. You've got me very curious right now. I tend to have this thing where when people tell me they're artists, I'm just like, okay, stop, stop. That's a wealth of emotional meaning, and I have to figure out where it's springing from. You know, um, yeah, art is something else. I find, I was a musician for quite a long time, so definitely have an appreciation for aesthetics, and I just can't think of anything technically more impressive than somebody who creates art, especially like art with story and narrative involved. So I guess film is what I'm getting at here. That is something amazing. A good film, a good piece of art. Yes. Well, my live stream froze. At least the